Since I have to keep repeating myself, the Romans did not create the Holy Scriptures. They stole it from Africa and gave you a false doctrine to colonize the world. Prophecy is true, just not how you were taught. The world is indoctrinated by the Roman doctrine. No matter what religion you are in, you are following the Roman timeline. Since some people don't believe in articles, here are some live news that speaks about the Vatican apologizing for colonizing the world with false doctrine.
The Vatican helped Europe colonize the world, that it justified European colonialism in the name of spreading Christianity, that there are papal decrees that allowed European empires to take over entire countries. And for what? To allow colonizers to subjugate people, to take away their lands, wage war on their cultures, impose a self-conceived notion of racial superiority over them. And all of this just because the colonizers claimed that they were the ones who discovered new lands. So they had a right to rule over those new lands. Now the Vatican has come forward and apologized for what it did. It has apologized for helping the colonizers. Here's a report.
Have you heard something called the doctrine of discovery? It's Europe's version of finders, keepers. It's what European colonizers used to subjugate the world. The doctrine was cited by Europeans who discovered new lands, and the doctrine traces its roots back to the Vatican and to the Catholic Church. Now the Church has apologized for helping colonizers in their conquests. On Thursday, the Vatican issued an unprecedented statement. It officially apologized for its historical role in justifying colonialism by European powers. The Vatican said, "The Roman Catholic Church repudiates those concepts that fail to recognize the inherent human rights of indigenous peoples, including what has become known as the legal and political doctrine of discovery." It also declared that the doctrine is not part of the Christian's faith, but the Vatican is centuries late. The doctrine of discovery is a concept laid out in the so-called papal bulls. What are these? These are usually official statements from the head of the Catholic Church. That would be the Pope. So no less than the popes were involved in justifying European colonialism. Their decrees were used extensively in the conquest of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Africa, and the United States. The colonizers claimed that they had the approval of the Church to have sovereignty, property, and commercial rights in lands they discovered.
The Vatican made a historic announcement today, rejecting the doctrine of discovery. Sav Jonza has that story.
After numerous calls to rescind a 15th century doctrine, the Vatican stopped short of that today. Instead, they repudiated the doctrine's concepts as never been considered expressions of the Catholic faith. The doctrine of discovery is widely known as a tool of colonization, used to justify Christian conquest of indigenous peoples and take their lands. Written in 1493, the doctrine asserts that European people and culture are superior to all others. Indigenous peoples in Canada have been calling for the modern Vatican to rescind it, cries that grew louder during the Pope's visit in July 2022. Rose LeMay, CEO of Indigenous Reconciliation Group, says that visit played into today's announcement.